Let's look at it broken down. Let's look at the diagram underneath it. It says, I will make the house. Everybody say that. I will make a house. Okay, so let's, in the right diagram, the Greek says, Piazon oikon. Okay? Let's read on. This is active. Notice the direction that the action is going, from the left to the right, from I to house. The verb tells you what I will do to the house. You'll make the house. So I place an arrow over the verb pointing in the right direction of the action. I will make the house. Okay? And so we are dealing with voice. Whenever we are dealing with voice, if it's the active voice, pay attention. The subject is doing the action. So I is the subject of the sentence, right? So who will make the house? I will make the house because it's in the active voice. Let's go on to the passive. You all see the passive underneath there? Let's see the difference now in the passive voice. It is possible, however, to turn the arrow around so it points in the opposite direction. Then something will happen to you. Listen to this. Let's look at the diagram. I will be made by God. You see that? Okay, the Greek says, poienzenmaya, okay? Upo, theon. I will be made by God. In the active voice, the subject is doing the action. Watch the difference in the passive voice. I will be made by God. So listen, the subject now is being acted upon. Look at the difference. In the active voice, I will make the house. In the passive voice, God is doing what? He is working on, the subject is being acted upon. In the passive voice, the subject is doing the action. In the active voice, the subject, I will make the house. In the passive voice, the subject is being acted upon. So God is the one who is making, I will be made by God. So you didn't make yourself. If it's in the passive voice, it is God who made you. In the active voice, you would have made yourself. And so when you read the Bible, and I'm going to give you a reference to, every Christmas we read it. We read Matthew, and we do the birth of Jesus, and we do how Joseph had a dream, and he was going to put away Mary, and he decided not to put her away because the angel visited him in a dream. Remember that? Okay, and this is what the Bible says. And being raised out of his dream. It's in the passive voice. So what that means is, Joseph didn't get up on his own. If it was in the active voice, he would have waken up himself. It's in the passive voice. Joseph is the subject, so he's being acted upon. So then it was God that woke him up. And so that gives us a biblical interpretation that you don't wake up yourself in the morning. It's God who wakes you up. How do we know that? Because it's in the passive voice. The subject is being acted upon. Does it make sense? Okay. Now it is something that will happen to me because I am the subject. So because you are the subject, remember in the passive voice, you are being acted upon. If I had said, you will be made by God, then you would have been the subject. Anybody who has enough sense to come in and out of the ring can tell the big difference between I kicked the ball. Listen, that's active voice because the subject kicking the ball. And listen to this. I got kicked by the mule. That means you're in the passive voice. The subject was being acted upon. The mule kicked him. Okay? So you see it's a big difference, right? Between the active and the passive voice. Yet in both sentences, the subject is I and the verb kicked are the same words. Okay, now let's go down to the middle voice. There's no middle voice in English, but there's a middle voice in Greek. So